Amidst a desolate landscape of devastation, where crumbling buildings bear silent witness to a prolonged battle, Ukrainian drone operators carry out a cold, inexorable precision operation. Released video footage shows how unmanned aerial technology is once again becoming a game-changer on the modern battlefield, hunting down enemies struggling to survive amidst the rubble. Drone cameras scan every corner of the destroyed area, and Russian soldiers are seen seeking cover, moving from one collapsed concrete wall to another, hoping the shadows of the rubble will shield them from observation. However, what they thought was a safe haven turns out to be a deadly trap. From their command posts, Ukrainian drone operators work with great patience. No indiscriminate firing, no hasty attacks. Each target is methodically identified. The slightest movement, a passing shadow, a figure running through a collapsed building, is immediately pinpointed and locked on from the air. And one by one, the Russian soldiers' positions are revealed. As they tried to hide behind cracked walls or enter roofless buildings, Ukrainian drones followed them from above, maintaining constant visual contact. Attempts to scatter, hide, or defend proved fruitless, but air dominance ensured there was no safe space in the area. From the scene, the strikes were executed with pinpoint precision, and any escape attempts were halted within seconds. The footage showed how disparate and disorganized enemy units were unable to counter the threat coming from the skies. Without effective cover and situational awareness, they faced the harsh reality of modern warfare. Whoever controls the air controls the battlefield. This operation reaffirmed the crucial role of Ukrainian drone units in destroying enemy forces, even in complex environments like destroyed buildings. The ruins that should have provided cover instead became an open maze, completely observable from above. At the end of the footage, the area was silent again, devoid of movement, no resistance, only the remains of collapsed buildings and the traces of a military operation executed with pinpoint precision. For the Ukrainian drone operators, this was more than just an attack. It was a clear message that there was no safe haven for Russian forces, even in the rubble of destruction. Currently, Pokrovsk sector becomes killing field as Ukraine's drones devastate assault after assault. To the northeast, the battlefield has settled into a gruesome stalemate, with the Russian command throwing thousands of soldiers to prevent the Ukrainians from taking back more ground. All this time on the front lines of Pokrovsk, wave after wave has turned the battlefield into a death zone, with Russians walking over their own corpses to advance 1 meter. After Ukraine pushed enemy forces back from their attempted breakthrough toward Dobropilya, the Russians have shifted from offensive maneuvering to a fixation on simply holding the northern line at any cost, pushing bodies into the fields as long as they maintain the idea of a potential encirclement. The Russian command keeps feeding the battlefield with hundreds of men every day to prevent Ukraine from reclaiming terrain, while the Ukrainians must continue suppressing these waves. Otherwise, Russian forces could overflow the defenses, re-establish their salient, and again threaten to close the ring around Pokrovsk from the north. This is why the fighting has become almost static, yet unbelievably lethal. Both sides are fixed in place, but Russia is choosing to pay for this fixation with catastrophic human losses. Ukrainian drone footage from the ruins of Volodymyrivka illustrates the battles that now define the sector. In one clip, 2 Russian soldiers attempt to advance through collapsed buildings while being tracked from a Ukrainian drone above. a lone Ukrainian paratrooper suddenly appears from behind rubble, engaging them at close range with small arms fire. The Russians scramble behind a broken wall, but the Ukrainian pursues aggressively, maneuvering through debris as the drone recon is able to tell him he will not walk into an ambush. Within seconds of the attack, he eliminates the first Russian, while moments later, the assault group's commander also falls. Scenes like this play out dozens of times per day. Rapid, deadly, local engagements where small Ukrainian teams, outnumbered but coordinated with drones, neutralize Russian infiltrators before they can mass into a threat. The Ukrainians hold because their defenders combine precision drone overwatch with ruthless tactical efficiency and controlled aggression on the ground. For the Russian attackers, the advance toward Pokrovsk has turned into a march through what soldiers now call the ditches of death. Drone footage from Magyar's Birds, one of Ukraine's elite drone units, shows the scale of the slaughter. In a 200 square meter segment near an anti-tank trench, more than 30 Russian bodies are visible. More Russian soldiers are seen approaching the kill zone and are hit by an FPV. Ukrainians keep observing, and more Russians come just to be destroyed in a constant cycle of drone attacks. At the end, the ditch is clogged with corpses, smashed motorcycles, and burning debris. But Russians continue their efforts. A wounded Russian tries to crawl over the dead to escape. Meanwhile, the perspective switches to a Ukrainian FPV drone closing in as the wounded Russian scavenges gear and speaks to another injured soldier deeper in the trench. The drone strikes, throwing him back into the mass of bodies. Another clip, filmed from the Russian side, is even more disturbing. 3 Russian soldiers advance slowly through dense fog, while every few meters, new corpses appear. By the time they reach the ditch line, the ground is completely covered with piled-up bodies, displaying a concentrated carnage comparable to scenes at Stalingrad. The Russians are occasionally able to push a few hundred meters into the gray zone, dig in, and consolidate. However, with the sheer size of Ukraine's drone contingent, staying undetected is an impossible task. FPV and bomber drones quickly fly in to level the Russian position to the ground. Whatever foothold they gained is erased, and the landscape resets back, now with new bodies added to the layers beneath. Every day, the Russian command sends more troops, and they die without altering the front line. Their only reward is a fleeting appearance on a map, a presumed gain to brag to the high command that collapses as soon as Ukrainian drones resume full visibility. Overall, the only Russian strategy here is volume, by keeping the human conveyor belt moving forward. As long as the flow continues, Ukraine must commit scarce manpower to stop it, preventing Ukrainian brigades from redirecting their efforts to more offensive actions. For now, this grim arithmetic keeps the line static, but with casualty rates in this sector reaching levels unseen elsewhere on the front, the question is whether Russia will be able to sustain